Congratulations. So I am deeply concerned about the increasing number of suicides that we're seeing among active duty soldiers. In the first quarter of 2023, 49 active duty soldiers took their own lives. That is the highest first quarter number since DoD first started collecting these data a decade ago. Now, the Army has studied this problem a lot, but it hasn't acted with enough urgency. From 2019 to 2022, the Army sponsored 47 studies addressing suicide. However, an Army audit obtained by the Project on Government Oversight found that nearly 90% of those studies, quote, didn't have any actionable recommendations or recommended only more research. Nearly 90% of them. And for the few studies that did have actionable recommendations, the Army did nothing. Now, the Army was originally supposed to issue new suicide prevention regulations in the fall of 2021. Nearly 2 years after that deadline, it has still failed to do so, and our service members are suffering. So, General George, if you are confirmed, can I count on you to help get these regs out, and even more importantly, to help get these regs implemented in order to address the suicide crisis in our military?
Yes, Senator.
Good.
Can I talk? Can I say a couple of things about that?
You sure can.
Just in my experience, because as a commander, it wasn't necessarily the regulation.
Fair enough.
That made the difference for me. It was, getting the resources and then command emphasis, and that's what we have to do. And right now we're doing what we call a Building Cohesive Teams update. And I always talk about every location's a little bit different. And I always give, the example of Alaska versus Fort Irwin versus now Fort Liberty. Very different, they're facing different challenges. And I think that that's what we're trying to do is focus. One of the things that we've learned from, we'll take things that work, but in Alaska, they're doing something called Mission 100, which is basically getting somebody to talk to a counselor immediately. Everybody has to do that within a year, because what we're finding is a lot of these problems aren't necessarily, behavioral health problems. They're relationship issues, financial issues. I think we got to look at this through health and holistic fitness. Our health and holistic fitness, where we've fielded that in the brigades, we have seen, reductions in behavioral health and in suicides. And so again, I think that's what we have to focus on are the end results, and we're not happy with where we're at.
Well, and I appreciate the attention that you have paid to this, and I have every confidence you will continue to do this. But I just want to be able to say quite publicly, you and I, this has got to be a priority for the Army, and seeing these first quarter numbers is truly alarming. One other thing that we know, you raised several factors can contribute to suicide. Another one we know is failure to respond to sexual harassment or assault. So, General George, do you agree that addressing sexual assault and harassment should be part of the solution to suicide prevention programs at DoD?
Senator, I think all of that is a part of that if you're having them. And so first it's prevention of those kind of things that we have to focus on. And then in the response, absolutely making sure that we're taking care of the victim.
I appreciate that. We don't have suicide prevention regulations yet, but we do have recommendations from what's called the Suicide Prevention and Response Independent Review Committee. And one of the shortfalls it identified in a report earlier this year is the critical shortage of behavioral health professionals. Do you agree that one tool in addressing these shortages could involve the Army working with service members to facilitate access to whatever care can help them, whether it's directly through DoD or outside DoD?
Yes, Senator, I agree with that. And like I said before, I think what we're trying to do is, if it's specifically, I think there's a national shortage in behavioral health specialists. So what we want to do is make sure that we're triaging and, people who need the behavioral health actually get that. And
Good.
if somebody has a financial issue or relationship issue, they're talking to somebody.
I appreciate that. I just want to mention that in Massachusetts, we have the home base program, which is making a big difference to service members and their families. They provide treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, as well as for the complicated grief of loved ones who have lost a service member or a veteran to suicide. And it provides an opportunity for service members to get the help they need without worrying about the stigma of seeking help through DOD instead. So I want us to do everything we can in this area, and I look forward to having a chance to work with you. Thank you, General George.
Thank you, Senator. I look forward to getting up to see home base and
Good.
Native
I'm going to
and
hold you
everything
there.
else. Yes, Senator.